Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwaraha, Gurureva Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Chinmayam Vyapiyat Sarvam Trailokyam Sacharacharam Tatpadam Darshitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So freedom and happiness go together. Now, having understood this, the two verses become very clear. What is it that a realized master gains? Because we are all utilitarians. It gets more money, gets more TVs, gets more cars, gets more, Here he says,
Yastu sarvani bhutani atmannevanupashyati sarvabhuteshu chatmanam tato na vijugupsate.
two, which means as opposed to those who live in ignorance, try to seek joys, pleasures from finite objects, seeing the plurality, seeing the distinction, wanting, desiring, feeling miserable if they don't get it. As opposed to that, two, yaha sarvani bhutani atmani eva anupashyati. Who sees pashyati constantly, continuously. That knowledge, that vision never ever slips away from that person. Anupashyati. Anupashyati also direct. Anupashyati means after, anu also means after. After having known it through the right means of knowledge, which is the Veda and as explained by the Guru. So after being instructed properly, one who continuously sees it, constantly lives in that, what? Yetu sarvani bhutani atmani eva. Sees all the beings in oneself. You saw or not? All space is in you. All worlds are you. All the people in the world is in you. Just as the entire dream on waking up is in you. So, yetu sarvani bhutani atmani eva anupashyati. And sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam. And in all the beings, now when you use the word bhuta, bhuta in most language means ghost. Yeah. And in English they call it as elements. Yeah. So ghosts are called as elements. So bhuta means that which is seen to exist. Yeah. So all things and beings that we see as existing sees all the beings existing in me, means their existence is because of me. We've already demonstrated it. And sarva bhuteshu cha atmanam. So that we have not even that trace of separation, distinction, that when I wake up from the dream, I only was appearing as everything in the dream. So who was present in everything in the dream? I only. I was there in my friend, I was there in my enemy. I only was there in everyone, and all of them existed in me only. Which means they were from me, they were only superimposed on me, and yet I only have become all this in the dream. So, what happens to such a person? Tata na vijugupsate. Such a person does not have any disgust for anything. See, when are we miserable? When we get disgusted with something. No? Sometimes you, see, luckily you come to the ashram, you never feel. But somewhere you go to a restaurant and say, I was disgusted with the food. Huh? I was disgusted with the dirty. When you get disgust, what happens? Mind gets agitated. It gets disturbed. So disgust, hatred, repulsion, and its constant recoil in the form of fear, anxiety, and all this agitation causes sorrow in our mind. So such a person, na vijugupsate, which means such a person does not get disturbed, does not get excited, does not get disgusted, is repelled by nothing, naturally attracted by nothing also. Such a person indeed is free of all mental frustration, agitations, sorrow, disgust, likes, dislikes, fear, anxiety. We get freedom. When you say moksha, what is moksha? What do we want freedom from? From this jugupsa. From this sense of being separate, insecure. And all this arises when I see the other. The moment I see the other, there comes all the fear. You say, no, my fear goes away when there are others around me. I'll give you an experience. When I was living in Hong Kong, in Hong Kong there are all these towering buildings. It's a concrete jungle. There are beautiful areas around it, but it's a concrete jungle. So it's towering buildings. Now when I had to go from one class to another class and that class, we didn't have our own center. So I was going from one place, one building to another building to another building. In between, somebody had given me something to deliver in someone's house and give a message. I was in a rush to be on my class on time, and I was rushing towards the building, and these buildings, 50 story buildings, the lift takes time to come, especially in the old buildings, it takes time to come. So I was hoping that, the lift is in the lower stories, or you go there and just miraculously the gate opens for you the moment you walk in. Yeah. Like today you can Uber and you can do whatever, So I was thinking like that. Anyway, I was in a rush. I went there and there was this Chinese lady who seemed to be, and lift, you press once, the lift is going to come. Earlier, the lifts used to be where you ring the bell and the lift man still doesn't bring the lift down. So you keep on irritating him, ring. Here there's no bell, nothing. You press the lift, it's electronic, it will come down. But people love to keep on. As though the more you press, the faster it will come. So this woman was pressing, so which means she was there for quite some time pressing. So hopefully the lift was on its way down. And I was quite right, and thanks to her, that By the time I reached there, the lift came and the automatic door opened. Now, first of all, she was there before me. Yeah, and those days, it was courtesy, ladies first, and just because you're Swami, it doesn't mean that you lose your etiquette. She was there before me, she's a lady. So I just said, after you. She looked at me. Anyway, this hairless Chinese, when they see these hairy Indians, they call them, Molacha. You can ask the Chinese here. Which means a bear. Naturally, when you see someone, so I told her, after you. Now, I didn't think that I look either frightening. Do I look frightening? Not even at this age. At that time, I was young, thin, brahmachari, what frightening would I look? But she just said, you go. That's how the Yugo brand came from. You go. So I said, after you. No, you go. I thought she meant to say, no, don't treat me like a woman. Because nowadays, women don't like to be treated as women. Why women? Actually, it's the other way around, Sometimes when they think they're... But anyway, I thought, she's one of those, people who don't want to be treated like, why should I go first? You go first. I'll hold the door for you. So I went inside and I held the door for her. Said, come in. You go. I thought anyway, it's a prerogative to change her mind. Yeah, so I just went. And we Indians know. I rang the bell, came and again held the door so that I could give that thing. And naturally she would ask, where are you going, Swamiji, this, that. I said, I'm in a rush. And I closed the door. And as I was going down, the most important message I had to give her, I did not give. It was quite important. That's why I went, not just to deliver, to give that important message. Now the lift is going down. It went down. It went straight to the ground floor. And I didn't even think. And just when the door opened, there she was standing in front of me and looking at me startled. So she said, come out. Now do not you go. Come out. Yeah. So I said, no, I have to go back again. Come in. So you go. I went up, but now I knew that she not changed her mind. She wants to go to the lift, but she's afraid of me. So I also thought, little mischief, So I just went to the side of the lift. So when it came down, I said, now that when she comes in, I'll just say, boo, and I'll run out, Yeah. My work is to make it happen, right? Yeah. So, I said, I'll just say, boo. That much mischief of brahmachari is allowed, Yeah. Not really frighten her, but just, go. And then just went. So I thought, that's why I stood in the corner. She didn't come in only. I looked outside. She was not there. I said, I only just imagined that. But just when I walked out from behind the corridor, she suddenly came, looked at me, closed the door, and went off. See, there's a difference of being alone and difference in being lonely. In loneliness, there is jugupsa. There's a want of other. Yeah. Even when you are so-called alone in your room, are you afraid? Yeah. Of someone who might be hiding behind the curtain. But in the bathroom, when you know that nobody is there and your door is locked, whether you sing or whether you dance, are you have any, fear of judgment, etc.? Tell me. How free you are when you are alone, isn't it? And people are afraid to be alone. In that state. No, in that state, everyone becomes you and you become everybody. In case you're so afraid of being lonely, you see yourself in the other. And what is love? Love is identification with the beloved. And if you've not read Gurudev I Love You letters, please read it. Yeah? When I see someone as myself, then only there is love. Other is just a barter. The relationship lasts as long as you give, I give, you give. Yeah? And therefore it is also the state of love. And in love, there is no judgment. In love, there is no hatred. Love is beyond likes and dislikes. That is called as freedom, and therefore, tato na viju gupsati. Such a person has no agitation. Such a person indeed is free. And by this, the teacher has established that infinite, all-pervading Isha is the Atma, the self, and one who sees everything as Isha, sees everything as one self. Even if you see God separate from you, there is fear that He'll punish me for my sins. Na vijugupsate. The significance of that word, vijugupsate, no? That there is no agitations. And what keeps us away from the expression of our divinity is the agitation, the muddiness of our mind. When the sun is reflected in the Mansarovar or in the New Zealand lakes, and especially when that lake is still, the brilliance of the sun is almost as brilliant as the sun that you see. From that mind and intellect that has become calm, peaceful, unagitated. Why? Because sees the self in everyone and therefore has become sama. Samatvam yoga uchyate. That equanimity of mind that takes place, and in that equanimity of mind, we gain this knowledge that I am in everyone and everyone is in me. Now, even when it says I am in someone and someone is in me, you might think there is a contained relationship. Yeah. बर्तन में कोई पानी है, पानी में बर्तन है. कैसे? That if you put one vessel in the pond, you can say, no? That the vessel is in the water and the water in the vessel. It's not like that. It is not that there is something other. There is only Atma on which all this plurality is projected, as you've seen. Just as dream is from one me only, so also at this moment, this world, which is actually like a dream, but I see it as real outside me. When I begin to inquire, I recognize even this waking world is only experienced inside me. And it comes and it goes. Therefore, it is mithya. It is only an appearance. It is not the truth. It is only a projection. And to remove even that trace of doubt of Atma in you and you. So there is that other, that word other also is there, no? When you say, serve others as yourself. Otherwise, I serve everybody, but nobody serves me. Where do I have time to serve others? I have to look after myself, because the other is not self. Now in this next verse, to remove even that trace of doubt of that sarva and aham, idam and adaha, tat and tvam, to remove the doubt, all these distinctions are only superimposed. The reality is only one. Next verse.
Yasmin sarvani bhutani Atmaiva bhutvijanatah Tatra ko moha kashoka Ekatvamanupashyatah
Yasmin sarvani bhutani atma eva abhut vijanatah. This word vijanatah, not just janata, vijanata, directly knows. One who comes to know this, which means vijanata also, very often people think that now I'll realize, I don't want to realize right now, I mean, I still want my family, Because you think that realization, like suddenly, like the dream, suddenly everything comes to an end, and then you just realize, and then everything just fizzles out. And then we wonder, what will I do with myself? I'm telling you, all these notions come up. That's why people ask this question. It's not that we also didn't feel it. I mean, okay, if I realize myself and I alone am there, how boring will it be? Because you don't like your company anyway. But which company you don't like? This mind's company. This whole world is a projection in Kriya. Aap hi aap sang khele. If you know that all this is from me, and you see all this as one's own self, then even when you see the world of plurality, it's like you see that dream, and there is a state, I don't know if you've known it, especially if you've started meditating. You know that you are dreaming. Have any one of you reached that state? Or just before waking up, if you're seeing a dream, you know that you are dreaming. Yeah? And if the dream is very nice, have you prolonged your dream ever? And that time you're not really, the dream just comes, You can pull. But then again you go to sleep and you slip into it, But having vijanataha, having woken up, yasmin sarvani bhutani atma eva abhut. We said that, sees the atma in the other and the other in the atma, or sees atma in all and all in the atma. But who recognizes all to be one in me, having become me. How is that understood? Take the example of the different types of waves, the ripples, the wave, the tidal wave or the tsunami. All these different waves rise in the ocean. They set in the ocean. They become one with the ocean only. So where are they rising from? Where are they growing? And where are they fading into? Into the water only, isn't it? Now you don't have to wait for the wave to go into the water. Vijanata. This is that unique knowledge that even when you see the different waves, one who knows that water alone is there, the different waves may come and go. You neither get carried away with them, or you see the distinctions and the differences, and you like that ripple and you are frightened of that tidal wave. All of them is the water only. So, yasmin sarvani bhutani atmaiva bhut vijadata tatra ko moha ka shoka. For that person, where is there any tamas born ignorance and delusion? Moha means when we are ignorant of the truth, we project. Like when I'm ignorant of the post, I have the delusion that it is a ghost. And when I see the post as a ghost, chugupsa, fear, anxiety, etc. No? But one who knows the truth, tatra ko moha. And delusion born, attachments, repulsions, likes, dislikes, all this from moha. Ka shoka. Where there is delusions, there is desire, false expectations, etc. And therefore, where our expectations are false, disappointment is natural. It is with this statement in Siddhabadi, Gurudev started the Gita Marathon camp. Where your expectations are false, disappointment is natural. If you expect completeness from incomplete, you are bound to be disappointed. But now you've had discussions on it, right? Tatra kaha moha, ka shokaha. One who has attended the camp in Siddhabadi. Ka moha, ka shokaha. And it is on this basis the entire Bhagavad Gita is unfolded. Dharma sammudha chetaha. Arjuna is almost, I am karpanya dosho pahata swabhavaha. I am confused about my own nature. I do not know. If I don't know myself, how do I know how I should act or what I should do? Dharma sammudha chetaha. And because of that delusion, Arjuna had developed that grief, that sorrow. And you see both the verses together, one after the other. And Arjuna understood that without the instructions of Sri Krishna, without the knowledge of Sri Krishna, even if he were to win the kingdom of the three worlds, he has understood that this dissatisfaction, this sorrow, has its cause in something else, and he doesn't recognize that it is because of his delusion. But he recognizes his delusion, and he recognizes until and unless Krishna gives him that knowledge and removes his delusion, his sorrow is not going to end. And therefore Gita starts with Na anushochanti panditaha. That you have grief for that which should not be grieved for. For the wise do not grieve for those who are gone and not yet gone. जो आया है वो तो जाएगा ही, जो उपजा है वो बिनसेगा भी, है ना? Birth and death is a phenomenon of life, But we think that I am not going to die and nobody of mine should die, because if somebody dies, why did God do that? Shoka. That which is created will perish. That which is born will die. And yet, everybody whose birthday we celebrate will die. But nobody ever dies. Because the Atma is eternal, imperishable. And when there is delusion that I am this body, then will there not be anxiety? Will there not be sorrow? If I think I am this limited person, will there not be craving and desires? Yeah. Think. And therefore, here it's pointed out, what is the cause of our sorrow? People go for blessings, people do some pujas or worships or tirth yatras or hajj or light candles, do navinas, navratris. You know where navina also comes from, navratri only. Yeah? All so that one problem of the life comes to an end. But there's another chain waiting. Yeah? So you keep on doing fasting and cause even more agitation to yourself. The cause of our sorrow is our ignorance born delusion. And ignorance born delusion, when it goes with knowledge, then only all our sorrows come to an end. And in our worldly joys, our sorrows don't come to an end. Your son is getting married, that joy does not end the sorrow of your daughter who married someone you didn't want. There is not even a trace of sorrow or possibility of sorrow in such a person. And therefore in the Bhagavad Gita it says, even what the world may consider as a mountain-like calamity befalling on someone, such a person, na vijugupsate, such a person agitated. In a movie that you are watching, there's earthquakes, mountains collapsing, oceans rising. But when you see it is as a movie, you identify with it. Saas Bahu ki kahani. Otherwise, you even watch a horror movie and you enjoy it. Is it not? Na vijugupsate. And who? Ekatvam anupashyata. One who sees only this one Atma in everything, everyone, such a person. Where is any attachment, moha? And where there is no attachment, where can there be any shoka or sorrow? Really speaking, the Upanishads ends here. Phala is already pointed out. But, Swamiji, this goal seems to be really... But yesterday I didn't think it was important, so I just picked up a little bit and then, other was like... It was too difficult also. Let's admit it was too difficult. So Rishi understands. So he'll make it very simple for us in the next mantra. One more chance for realization. For this jnanam. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om. Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.